Hi, I'm John, and I'm here to do a product walkthrough of the Odyssey Remake node. We're going to break this up into three parts. The first part, we're going to look at adding detail to an image. The second part, we'll look at completely transforming an image. And then the third part, we're going to look at how to do this in batches. Yeah, so let's get going. Okay, so to start here, I have this kind of AI-generated image of a jungle. As you can see, it's a beautiful waterfall. If you look at it from afar, it looks like a high quality photograph, like a real photograph. If I zoom in, you can kind of see that it's really quite blurry, right? Like a lot of the things are pixelated. The things that look like leaves or moss are really just kind of like green pixels. There's just a lot of issues with the image, and I want to basically transform it so that it can look much more detailed, like look like a larger image with a lot of high quality photographic detail. It's also quite small. It's 612 by 408, which would look pretty terrible on any website. So what I want to show you is how you can use Odyssey Remake to add detail really, really easily to an image. So let's zoom back out. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Remake node, and I'm going to drag it in here. I'm going to make it quite a bit bigger just so it's easy to see. And then I'm going to connect my image to it. Okay. So on the right-hand side in the inspector is where we do a lot of our work with the Remake node. The way that this works is that it splits up the image into tiles. It runs a super resolution model on each of those tiles, and then it runs a stable diffusion model on those tiles as well. So let's look at the settings. Okay, I have my Remake node selected. I'm going to go with automatic. When we go and we really want to change an image, we're going to go into the manual mode, but let's start with automatic here. Odyssey has 4 different options. I personally really like fine detail. I find that it maintains a lot of the quality that you get in the initial image while upscaling it. The other models work as well, so and they go quite fast. So you can test out a bunch of different ones of these and just have your personal preference. So let's go with fine detail. For the resolution, you can upscale up to 8K. I like to keep it around 4K. It's just for this demo purpose. 8K will take a little bit longer, and also, if you have a really powerful Mac, it won't matter, but my Mac is not that powerful. So I'm going to go with a 4K resolution, output resolution. I'm going to skip apply second diffusion pass for now. I will come back to it. The rest of these I'm also going to skip. They're kind of more advanced features. Next, where I'm going to spend most of my time is down in the creativity section. One of the cool things about Odyssey's Remake is that you are able to use any Stable Diffusion XL model that Odyssey supports. So if you have custom models that you want to use, if you have just really specific ones that either do like drawings or really realistic photos, you have the ability to use that here in Odyssey. I like to use Lightning models because they go quite a bit faster. So I'm going to use Realistic Vision XL Lightning. This one I find is a really good balance between high quality photographic realism and then the speed of a Lightning model. We're going to set the steps to 10. I'm going to set a random seed. Again, these are all settings you can play around with. I don't really mess with them that much. The one I really want to focus on is the creativity amount. Okay, so this slider essentially dictates how much of the initial image is put into the final image. So if you go more creative, it's going to take a lot less of this initial photo and basically completely reimagine the image. Balanced will do more of just filling in a lot of the detail that's missing from the initial image. And then less, this is if you have like a real photograph, a piece of art that you don't really want to change, you want to just make larger. For the purpose of this, because again, we don't really love the detail that we get in the initial image, we are going to go with balanced, which will give us that kind of detailed look that when you zoom in, it'll look like a realistic photograph. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to applying a second diffusion pass. So I'm going to check this off. I'm going to look at the configuration. Again, this is not something you necessarily have to mess with, but it has a similar number of settings here to really get granular and really change the image to match exactly what you want. The way this is going to work is that Stable Diffusion will be applied to each tile a second time after the first run and get really incredible realistic results. Okay, so I have my Remake node selected. I've changed my settings. Let's go ahead and click Remake. And I'm going to speed this up so you can see it tile by tile because it does take some time. Okay, so our first pass is complete. Our resolution is now up to 4K. And as you can see, there's already quite a bit of detail added in here. We're not going to take some time with it now because what it's now going to do is run that second pass of Stable Diffusion on the image, which will again add even more detail. So we're going to let it run again. We'll speed it up, and then we'll check back in once it's complete. Okay, great. So let's zoom in and let's take a look at the outcome. Let's make this nice and big. So on the left, I have the original image, and then on the right, I have this upscaled image that's added a ton of detail. So let's swipe all the way over just to see the first initial one, and then let's swipe to see the after. As you can see, everything becomes a lot more realistic, right? The detail is added significantly. The leaves look like leaves. The water looks like water. The rocks look like rocks. There's moss. The scene really looks like a realistic photograph that's taken in the jungle rather than kind of an AI-generated image. It's also, the image that we started with was also 612 by 408, and now this is a 4K image. So what you've done is you've gone from a really low resolution, kind of crappy image to something that's really incredible. So again, that's just adding detail using the Odyssey Remake node. If you want to learn more about how to do this, you can visit or learn more about the settings and things like that. If you go to odysseyapp.io/guides/remake, there's a lot more detail on how to use the node. And yeah, there's going to be a part 2 of a product walkthrough where I show you how to really transform an image instead of just adding detail to it. So thanks for watching, and be sure to follow our YouTube channel to watch the second part.